Hello, back on this R66. I don't know how many days it is since I did the first part of the video, but life just gets in the way sometimes, and so I took it out of its case. I was going to check some voltages, but when I had first of all had a look inside, I noticed that there's a silicon diode in there, and that is for, I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's just hanging in midair, and that is obviously been put in to replace one of the selenium rectifiers which is behind it. That's the HT selenium in that little metal can, and that one down there is for the 1.5 volts heater supply. So having taken out of its case and checked that I've got the right voltages, and I have got the right voltages roughly, I thought I'd try it again now it's out of its case, and would you believe it?
I don't know.
As you can hear,
there are worse places to be lost
now
than
working.
under the shade of a barrel.
So whether there was a loose connection,
I told a story about that tree.
I don't know, but it now seems to be working fine and fairly good volume.
I heard it was here before the first people came to this land. If it was here before you, grandfather, it must be very
That's
old
on
indeed.
long wave,
What?
medium wave.
And you for Jan Bednarek. An own goal, sent
Radio
off done
5.
in midweek. That gets...
Not much else. Not much else on medium wave. I think it needs a good alignment there, because if we put it back to long wave,
Do you see? I do.
that's radio 4 on what would have been 1500 meters, or the old light program. As you can see, that's where the pointer should be, and it's way over there. So I think, and I'm going to turn it off now. The other thing I did notice was making sure I did notice that the ferrite rod is cracked, and that's why somebody's put a piece of tape around it, but it seems fairly solid, the glue, araldite obviously. So I think really what I need to do next is do an alignment on it and put it all back in its box, and then see how it sounds. So that will be the next bit. Okay, back in the freezing cold workshop. I have the heater on now and it's still only 11 degrees in here, but never mind. I'm going to do this alignment now, and what does it say? It says, well, I know what it says. It says IF alignment first of all. Switch to medium wave, which I've done. Turn tuning gang capacitor to minimum, which it is, and feed in 470 kilohertz across on the stator of C3. Stator of C3 is here. Yeah, because the rotor is earth, stator is signal, and that is basically a DC point, a 0 volts DC point, because it goes through this coil down to earth. So I'm not going to blow up my signal generator. So, and then what's it say? Volume control to maximum. I'm not going to do that. I don't think it needs to go to maximum. I'll turn it up. But I think in order to do this and be less annoying, I'm going to disconnect the speaker and just look at it on the scope over here. And it's not triggering very nicely. but that will have to do. So let's go ahead then. So you've got to adjust, what am I feeding in? 470 kilohertz and 120 microvolts at the moment. So you have to adjust L7, L6, L4 and L3 in that order. Okay. Well, you can't see what I'm doing, but you'll just have to take my word for it. I've got to turn it over now. Right, L7 is the first one. That was already spot on. Next is L6, which is he's turning it over again. It's the bottom of the coil I just adjusted. And it's not easy to get my trimming tool in the coil, but that one seems to be peaked as well. Doesn't seem to make much difference. L4 next. Turn it over again. Okay. Yeah, that one's peaked as well, so it didn't need adjusting. Last one is L3, which is the bottom of the last one I did. Okay, L3. And that is also fine, so I don't think that's made the slightest difference. Okay, it was already well tuned up on 470 kilohertz. Now I've got to do the RF and oscillator alignment, so I just have to reconfigure to do that. Okay, RF and oscillator stages, verify that the maximum capacitance the pointer is indicated with the datum line on the low frequency end of the scale. That's up here, which it is. Yeah, it's fine. And secure signal generator leads close to the ferrite rod. I'm not going to do that. What I'm doing instead is I've got my signal generator connected up to a long wave coil on a ferrite rod, and that's just going to sit on the bench and that'll radiate enough signal into the radio. That's a much better way of doing it. And switch to long wave, which it is. Tune to Paris. Okay, it's tuned to Paris. Set your generator to 164 kilohertz. 164 kilohertz. And in theory, we should hear something, but there's probably not enough signal, so I'll up the signal. Okay. Well, that is about 10 millivolts going into that long wave coil. As you can see, moving it around makes a big difference. But the scale is way off. It should be there obviously, and it's up here. So now what do? I adjust core of L5. Now probably be the oscillator. Now I've got to find L5. I haven't got a clue where L5 is. Right. L5 is this one. And that's changing the oscillator. So I tune it up to where it should be. You can see that's about right. And now the tuning scale is right, this is on Paris. Right, next bit. Then in the inductance of the long wave coil to obviously give best signal. That's the long wave coil. Don't want to damage the thing, it's a bit fragile. It wants to go right to the end almost. Okay. I can't go much further with that coil. That's as far as it's going to go. So that has improved it a bit. And it's a very annoying noise. Out coil R2. Tune to Cullenborg, which is right down there. Okay. And feed in 245 kilohertz. 245 kilohertz. And I hear nothing. It's way off down there as well. It's right down there, and it should be there. So I've obviously got to adjust C10 then C1. I've got to adjust C10, C10 is that one. No, can't see. C10 is that trimmer, which is well, they won't adjust. What's that one? What's the other one? C1. Different trimmer tool. Well, this in theory should be the oscillator. But that doesn't really help. It only makes it go even further off. So you're just going to have to put up with that being a bit off. And then you've got to adjust C1 for the best signal. It's already fine at its maximum capacitance. Oh well, it's not quite right on the scale.
The two worlds. Do you think it was always that? You sometimes got a sense that even in his own mind, the two worlds of movies and 20th century politics elided, and from one of his great slogans, "Win one for."
I think it's better to just adjust
Played a dying young footballer.
the oscillator to get radio 4 where it should be,
But this is not uncommon. I mean,
which is L5.
have done that. Nixon loved John Wayne also, and many presidents, including Bill Clinton, had watched High Noon many times over.
Do not force me, oh my darling.
George W. Bush looked like something out of a
Okay.
Western a lot of the time.
I'll
and,
tweak that.
In the cowboy
Radio 4 is where it should be.
did employ the
Signal generator's still on. Turn that off. Loads of noise in the workshop. There's nothing else on long wave anyway.
Back to the Second World War, I suppose. Now,
As far as I'm concerned, that's working alright. The only other station you'll get on long wave here is RTE
A timely summons tuned to the terrific.
from Ireland, and that's not very strong. So now we've got to do medium wave.
in that it was made in Hollywood, but it did the trick insofar as it helped
Switch to medium wave.
public opinion.
Move that over a bit. Tune to 550. Okay. 550. Barrowmunster. That's German. Anyway, we're on 550. And I have to feed in 545 kilohertz. 545 kilohertz. Okay. Now I should hear a signal somewhere. Okay. Well, that is way out. It's right up there instead of there. So I have to obviously adjust an oscillator now. Lower core of L5 this time. So the upper core does long wave and the lower core does medium wave. I do not like this, it's got high voltages on it. So that'll be L5. Okay, that's correct. It's now on 550. Now I think it'll want me to twiddle around with the medium wave coil, or the end of it. Yeah, medium wave coil L1, which is this bit on the end. Wow, that makes a difference. I'm sorry you can't see it. You have to adjust this for maximum. That made a massive difference. Right, that's going to be there. And I'll have to put some wax on that. Stop it moving. Right, turn that annoying thing down. Now we have to go to 200 meters, 1500 kilohertz. Right, 200 meters. 200 meters, 1.5 megahertz. 1.5 megahertz. It's not too far out. It's only a smidgen out. So, in order to get that right, I have to adjust C9 and then C2. So C9 is this one. This must be the oscillator. Right, now the scale is right, 200 meters, and C2 is the tuning on the coil, which is good now. And that's so annoying. Anyway, he wants me to go back to long wave again then. I don't think I can be bothered with long wave again, because it's not going to make much difference as long as it gets radio 4.
Squaring in his eyes, the loss
Which
of
it
eyesight,
does.
the skin damage, the rain.
And so turn the generator off,
His family, you cannot come away
and we'll see how lively it is now.
Just as incredible.
On medium wave.
Steam films in the 80s and the smoke.
There aren't that many strong stations on medium wave around here, but it seems to be working quite well really. There's a few fairly weak local stations. It's only really when you
they're in the top 4 this year.
to radio 5
You
you
might
get
go
a
to the top
strong
4
one.
again next year.
So I think that's working fairly well.
Get ready to learn about the Great Fire of London, ancient
Long
Egyptian religion,
wave's
the
working
Scottish
fairly
Wars
well
of
too.
Independence, Mary
So that's
Seacole,
it.
and one of the Teenage Mutant.
I need to get those coils secured with a bit of wax or even hot glue. Might use hot glue, don't know. If I can find an old candle, that's the best I can do with wax. So what do I need to do with it now? I need to get some switch cleaner on the controls because they're noisy, like this wave change switch, and also the volume is scratchy. And then I need to clean up the box, although I don't think I'm going to make a lot of difference by cleaning it, because it's more damaged than dirt on it. And then I'm waiting for some belt leather to come, which I ordered yesterday, and that won't be here for a few days, especially if it snows a lot. So that's about it for now. I think I'll upload this as a part 2, and then the final instalment is putting it all back together and seeing if it still happily performs like it used to do many years ago.